If we keep them silent, then they'll resort to violence. And that's how we'll criminalize change. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast. My name is Harley Neville.
And I'm Guy Pigden. And who was that?
That was Enter Shikari, of course. I only speak in Enter Shikari quotes nowadays, Guy. You should know that
You only
by
listen
now.
to one album
One
from one
band.
band.
Did
Just on repeat.
No, it's no. I listen to all of their
Right.
albums. I listen to all of their albums, actually. Yeah, yeah. I did get a notification from Spotify saying that I was like, I should go back and find it, but it was like that I was like right up there in terms of like the listenership.
They're like, you're a...
Like it was like an award.
This is the gold star for being a fucking crazy fan.
Yeah, basically.
They're like, this is to show that you might have a problem. Award.
Sure. Well, they just have very sensible music, intelligent and sensible lyrics, and interesting music. So I highly recommend them. Enter Shikari. Go back to their first album, work your way through.
So
A Flash Flood of Color is their best one, in my opinion.
which album's that? How many albums ago is that one?
Like 3 or 4? 3?
Way
maybe?
past their prime then.
They're still good. They're just maturing like me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so welcome along to the show. 170 episodes. We're getting there. That's 190. We've got a playlist on YouTube at the moment. It's 190 hours of content, which is like 8 days worth of content.
It's
pretty good.
Serious. That's a serious commitment for someone to begin now.
Yeah, it is.
But lots of good stuff in there. There
is.
When did we start this podcast? 2014 or 2015?
About that, 2014, I think. I think it was 5 years. It was just recently gone 5 years, so it must be 2015.
Right. Okay. Yes. So
yeah,
we must have started around the release of the zombie film. We're getting lots of zombie notifications in my Facebook memories. So I didn't realize that like the sort of official release here in Auckland, New Zealand, and when we had our premiere and stuff like that was
this is the premiere of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust.
Yeah,
right?
was pretty much on my birthday 5 years ago.
Right.
And
yeah, well, I remember we were doing the podcast before the film came out. So that was another one of our long-running storylines that people followed on this show. The story of us talking about this feature film we'd been making, which then finally actually came out, and we did the premiere and, all that stuff. And we did episodes, after some of the screenings when we came home drunk after these excellent screenings and stuff. So it's all there. It's all documented.
So
I reckon my grandkids are going to listen to this and love it when, in later life. Shout out to my grandkids. I still haven't met your grandma yet. I'm a bit concerned about it.
Shout out to your grandkids that were artificially inseminated when you donated your sperm.
Attract you. That's going to be so funny.
Tracked you down through YouTube, but are now listening to the whole horrid, appalling tale of their inception. With this fucking goof who just fucking nutted one out for a laugh. One day, and they're finding they're like, this is why I exist. This podcast,
this is
what
the
has
story
been explained on this podcast is why I exist in the world. Are you fucking serious? This is my dad.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be funny if this show actually predicts what actually happens. I do donate sperm one day. I do reconnect with this person at some point, or connect with this person at some point, and then they listen to the show, or or their kids do.
Yes.
Could happen.
It's possible. So I think I realized that I've been filming on like 3 of my last 5 birthdays or something like that. Just randomly, just through sort of, we were doing some pickups, or we were shooting a web series, or we were, doing some work for the zombie film or something like that, or older or what have you. So it's just interesting to see. That's really what I'm interested in now on Facebook. Don't care about what's going on currently. Just interested in looking back to see what I was doing 5 years ago.
Oh, well, I regret being friends with all these lefties in my Facebook now because it's all doom and gloom out there. Well, to be fair, the world is falling apart. It's probably not just all these lefties, but a lot of my news feed is like, like all the bad stuff that's happening in America and just all the bad stuff that's happening as our civilization is imploding. It's become a depressing place. Facebook has become a depressing place.
Is it our civilization or is it America?
Well, time will tell because here let's play a wee game. It's called How Many Steps from World War III Are
Today.
We? Today. And it's like, okay, what's a plausible scenario where World War III erupts? And it's like, okay, the virus continues to sort of, ravage things. Unrest is, spreading around the globe. Like maybe places like us might be okay, but there's all this tension between China and America. And if America is the stumbling juggernaut and China is this sort of up and coming, fresh warrior, that it could be that we witness the fall of America. And America is already, according to something I watched recently, it was saying that the Chinese are poised to the Chinese economy is poised to overtake the American economy for the first time ever, and America will literally no longer be able to say we're number one because they won't be, and China will have a bigger economy, and perhaps because they've got this kind of dictatorial government, they can kind of act more efficiently as well. Perhaps.
Well,
so imagine if that escalates. Basically, America falls as China's coming up. It leads to conflict, a big old showdown, and it's World War III.
Red Dawn. I think they made a movie about that.
Well, that was Russia.
Oh, was it Russia?
That was Russia. That was the Soviets.
Right. It's Russia. Well, we've placed Russia with China now.
Soviets.
And we've sort of got that. Yeah. So obviously. Yeah.
Well, I imagine that Russia would probably be on China's side in this conflict. Like there would be alliances that would form on each side, just like the other wars, and probably Russia and China might be on the same side, given their geographic proximity to each other and similar past and ideologies, style.
Yeah, so definitely America is not looking good this week. It wasn't looking good last week, but it's looking way worse this week.
Well, imagine it in 2 more weeks, because obviously from this riot activity, there's going to be a huge spread in COVID, presumably, right? If it's as contagious as they say, and if it's out there, all these riots are going to be spreading it like fucking riots, like wildfire.
Well, that's certainly something that I thought about, is all these protests, all these peaceful protests, or all these protests, full stop, anywhere, everywhere, is a COVID sort of melting pot for countries, particularly like America, that have not, they're obviously they believe they're over the worst of it. They're sort of on the other side of the peak of the curve, but they're by no means, not everything is not good. It may be in decline, but they're still getting all these cases coming through, and now you've essentially created this situation where now no one is staying home. No one is heeding the lockdown thing because they want to protest, rightfully, and, there's absolutely no reason. Like, this is the problem. What do? Do you go, look, we need to rally against this racial injustice, and to do that, we need to protest and people need to see us right now? Or if we do nothing because we're heeding these COVID restrictions, then it kind of gets swept under the rug again. But by not sweeping it under the rug, you're now creating this potential COVID melting pot. Like, so you're creating this other thing as you potentially protest, which will affect you very negatively in a different way potentially down the road. So it's very scary. And then obviously, Donald Trump's reaction to it seems like, from obviously just looking at it across from the other side of the ditch, but fuel to the fire, like chucking oil on it, as opposed to how can we best sort of, because he doesn't have a sort of a empathetic or sort of kind bone in his body, but arguably, and he is potentially also racist to some degree. I just think that we will sort of, I don't know, fight fire with fire is not the right term, but it's like we will crush this uprising, basically. Like, I'm not afraid to crush this uprising. It's like, that is really not what people, A, want to hear, or B, necessarily how to deal with such a delicate subject when so many people feel...
Yeah. Well, there's conspiracy afoot, my friend. The end of the world, the death cult that surrounds him, the Christian death cult that surrounds him, is fermenting chaos in order to hasten the coming of Christ.
Right.
That's what's going on here.
Mentioned
and so this is all
earlier.
part of it.
Yep.
It's all part of it.
It's all connected.
That's all connected. It is. So, yeah, and so basically there's a lot of different inflammatory factions that are deliberately inflaming things, like the white supremacists creating Twitter accounts, trying to get incite, a response. And, I mean, it does sound like there's been quite a bit of there could be some truth to this idea of the police somewhat provoking responses deliberately and so on as well, and doing things like leaving pallets of bricks lying around, or leaving police cars kind of unattended in the path of the crowd, knowing that they'll get damaged and stuff like that. And then other people basically people going in there who have been planted in there by whoever, to incite this turmoil and get this all started, and that's the type of shit that the Unabomber wants. He wants that the divisions to be cracked open, and there's people out there that actually want that.
This is all,
and Trump might be one of them.
This is all falling into the Unabomber's hopes and dreams right now.
Predictions.
He must be doing a little jig.
Oh, he will be so happy in his cell. He's in solitary confinement,
right.
I think, for his whole life. I'm pretty sure. I don't think, I could be wrong. But yeah, he'll be doing a wee jig in there. He gets 1 hour a day of daylight. Apparently. Right. He'll do a wee jig on his wee 1 hour walk.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just trying to look up when what day we're on of this of the COVID crisis here.
Yeah. Well, I did actually attend the Black Lives Matter march. Yep, sure did. It was an act of solidarity. I thought it was going to be like a little group of sort of anarchists and crust punks and stuff, because I've seen a few marches like that, but there was actually thousands of people there from all walks of life.
Which is a very positive thing.
Yeah. It was cool, but I was still quite aware of the whole COVID and social distancing thing. So I joined at the very, very, very end of the procession, and I stayed away from people, and I had my face covered. So I was part of it, but apart from it. But I was there, and I did lend my voice to that of thousands of others, and that's good.
Yeah, well, look, it was a pretty impressive sight to see the photo of the stream of people all the way down Queen Street, and just how many people were engaged with this.
I was very disappointed that there was not as many people at the Bald Lives Matter protest that I did outside Parliament, but nobody really showed up for that one. I'm an oppressed minority, oppressed because of my genetics. I do not get jobs because of my lack of hair.
True.
They call me a shiny. In the biz, they call me a shiny because the studio stage lights will always bounce off my head. They'll always shine off my head. So in the biz, they call me a shiny. Makeup artists hate me. Makeup artists hate me. Lighting people hate me.
Makeup artists and DOPs cringe when they see you rock up to work.
My shiny dome. And so yes. Anyway, there was not so many people at the Bald Lives Matter one.
And well, I still haven't figured out what day we are in lockdown level 2. But I will give a quick update.
Did you try Googling what day is it?
Well, I said kind of COVID New Zealand date or something like that, and didn't really get anything amazing
Yeah.
But also, I'm not even sure that they want to. Like, this is the thing: is like at a certain point, you don't even want to say how many days it's been. If
Yeah. Well, well, it was March. It was like 60 or something, right?
yeah,
I remember when it was like 45.
but we're losing track of the time because we're sort of well, it's all gone back to normal for us almost. And today there's now now the criticism for us is why aren't we reducing the levels quicker? Like that's the new criticism. First it was like, hey, we've
Not
responded.
me. I'm standing by Jacinda.
Like, hey, we've responded to this so well. Hey, no new cases. Hey, this is really positive. And now we're actually at, as we speak, day 13 of no new cases, which is kind of like
Lucky 13.
lucky 13. So, but now it's like, oh, you're destroying the economy because you need to open things up quicker.
Like, shut up, you boobs.
Shut up and let your business die. Shut up and let your livelihood.
Well, at the end of the day,
your livelihood you built over 30 years crumble to dust.
At the end of the day, though, right? The virus does not care if someone's losing money. It doesn't. So if the medical experts are saying this is how we should do it, we should just keep listening to them because they've served us very well so far. So if they say we need another 2 weeks, or if it needs to be July 1st, remember my prediction, well, we'll just keep on listening to them.
Well, they have outlined some new things. So there's 4 levels in New Zealand, and where we get to when we go down to level 1. So level 1 is basically everything is back to normal except you can't fly anywhere overseas. That's level 1. So level 1 in a nutshell is everything is pretty much back to normal. However,
but it's a prison.
Yeah,
it's a prison island.
However,
everything's back to normal, but it's a prison
this country
island
is
now.
a prison, which you must remain locked in.
Yes.
No, it's like basically.
Alcatraz.
No, I was going to say New Zealand has become Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Nobody ever goes in, nobody ever comes out, except little Oompa Loompas, occasionally.
And Avatar Cruise.
Which we should sort of talk about because Avatar, basically, I don't know if it was like a chartered plane, but it was like all the Avatar crew that had been working here for an extended period of time had to be deported, and now they've been re-imported back to go back to working on the film. And it's like this monumental milestone because it's like the film industry over here, which is, again, we picked it, the New Zealand utopia. All you have to do is go into 14.
We did pick it.
14-day quarantine, and then you're good. You can go about.
Yeah. We did pick this on the show. I think the episode might even be called Film Utopia or something like that. Speaking of the film
good news,
biz,
guys,
I did
those
say
sexy blue aliens will be back anytime. Those sexy, almost nude aliens that are like 12 feet tall will be back and better than ever.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the film biz, I said the other episode, a couple of episodes ago, that I had an audition for a role playing an autistic man on a TV show, and I got some good news, which is sort of not that good, but it's that technically I am right now on the very short list, which there's 2 people. There's 2 people on the short list, and so I am one of those people on hold for this TV role. But my insider information says that it's likely that the client will not be using me. So we'll be hearing, I guess, but that it's I'm the second favorite of the 2.
You made it to the
sadly.
to the short list as opposed to the short bold list, which is normally the only list that you make it on.
Yeah,
Dad
boldism.
joke.
Yeah,
Dad joke
exactly.
number one.
No, I
Dad
like
joke
that.
number
That's
one.
my
So
kind of joke. Yeah.
exactly, dad joke. So yeah, look, I think that's really positive because this is the thing. Because I was actually talking to an actor friend of ours who was like, "Yeah, I haven't actually been doing much. I keep making it to the last
Mm.
sort of 2 or 3, and then they pick someone else over me."
I'm fucking sick of it though, man. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm sick of the classic Pigville close but no
It means
cigar.
you're in
It's
the
been
running, mate. It just means you're
I
in the
I
running. It
know,
means
but I can't
that
keep
you're in the
I'm
hunt.
getting old and fat. I'm getting old and fat. I can't keep running
You're in
forever.
the hunt.
Yeah.
You're on the heels. You're just around the corner.
Mm.
It's just around the corner. It's just through the end of
Yeah.
that tunnel. So you can see that twinkle of light. And
Yeah.
and so look, I think it's really good. Look, to me, I'm like, that's the equivalent of getting it. Like, you didn't get
Yeah.
it, but you got it. Because you were
Mm.
a pick. Like, were you the number one? Nah, but the thing about the number 1 and the number 2 and the number 3, is certainly the number 1 and 2, is that the choice that they make may have absolutely nothing to do with your acting. In fact, your acting might have been better. It's purely because whatever look...
Boldism.
Exactly. It's purely because they hate shinies. And so you can be, you can think in your heart that, look, I did the best job out there. I just lost out because of the top of my freaking head. So...
Well, if anybody would like to donate to the Get Harley a Wig Fund for my acting, so I can do what Bruce Willis does, Bruce Willis, he just has headshots with a wig, headshots without.
Nicholas
in the old days,
Cage, he's been rocking the wig for, I don't know, 20 years.
Yeah, so I could do that, but it's just the issue is they're quite expensive. A good wig is quite expensive. So all you need is our email address, pigvilleproductions@gmail.com, and you can go to PayPal and donate to the wig fund, the Harley's bald head
Obi-Wan
fund.
Kenobi.
Yeah. PayPal. Pigvilleproductions@gmail.com.
Sean Connery, another famous wig wearer. So yeah, I think that's a very positive sign. It means that you're nailing it. And, one day, I just can't help but go back to that Doctor Strange. I just can't help but think, could that have been it? Could Doctor Strange audition where you didn't learn the accent have been the one? We don't know. But it could have been.
Never know, because I didn't try. Yeah. So apparently, Don Bosco's held... on the live stream, Don Bosco held says that the same thing is happening in Belgium regarding the COVID cases, saying that it's been 2 to 3 weeks with low cases, and the restaurants and all that stuff can't reopen their business, and they're all losing money. So yeah, it's happening everywhere.
Although we're well beyond that now. Restaurants have been... I've been contributing to the restaurants, no doubt about that. But it's 13 days. So now you predicted July 1st because when you were having...
Yeah, that's not looking too promising.
When you were having your affair with Jacinda, she whispered that in your ear as she was whispering other sweet nothings.
That was pillow
as you lay next to her.
That my inside information exactly was that we'd be on level 1 on July 1st, which I know seems like a long way off, but it's what my sources tell me. I mean, all I can do is pass it along to the CD160 listeners. That's all I can do, and pass it along to you guys. I'm just giving you the...
And what I'm saying
intel I have
is just like the lie that she tells her husband every night when he wonders about the strange aroma and the hair follicles, debris that seems to be spread in their bed from another man. She says, no, I only have eyes for you, handsome tall Clark Gayford.
Gay Clarkford is not that handsome.
I only have eyes for you. And then obviously sends you a cheeky little text. I think he's onto us. Just like that lie, she told you a lie about because I think lockdown is going down next week. That's my prediction.
Yeah. Well, I think you might be right.
Uh,
I think you might
because
be,
otherwise we might be having a bit of
unless
civil
and,
unrest.
and unless we get unlucky after the Black Lives Matter protest. It turned out there was one person there who had it and spread it amongst
Uh,
10,000
3,000 or
people
however many
or
people.
however many people
I
were
mean,
there.
look,
Yeah,
it's
that sounds underreported. If they said three, did they say 3,000?
no,
It
look,
seemed
I
like more
can't
than
remember
that.
how many. I only saw that photo of
Mm.
with you right in the back, and like 20
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
meters behind everyone else, with your
yeah,
hand up in
yeah,
solidarity, um,
yeah,
in the hazmat suit, in
yeah,
a full hazmat suit. Your gum boots,
yeah.
blisters
That was
from your
me.
gum boots because
That
you've
was
been
me.
walking in the
Yeah,
hazmat suit, hot and sweaty, hot and
yeah.
bothered.
Yeah, it would be horrible. It'd be horrible in a hazmat suit to walk the Black Lives Matter march.
So, yeah, but I had that same thought that you did. I was like, this is great. Like, this is a positive thing. You know, fundamentally, this is a positive thing. It's great to show that we care, and it's great to see that we in New Zealand both respect and realize that, you know, change needs to happen, and hopefully we're also looking inwards at our own self when we talk about this sort of thing. But I was like, but what about that one person? Because no one's keeping this fucking 1 meter distance in that group. And obviously this is applicable to where all these protests are, but no one is like, yeah, some people had face masks on, but not all 1,000 had that face mask. And I was just like, man, it does only take one person. Wouldn't it be tragic if this positive, sort of display of sort of anti-racism then spiraled into a fucking another lockdown or something? You know, it'd be horrible. And
Yep.
you know, no one, obviously it's very difficult for the government to come out and be critical of those protests, you know, as it is difficult for anyone to be critical of them. But you know, presumably everyone is breaking the law there in terms of the COVID distancing.
Yeah, I guess so, but no more than, in your average mall.
Right.
Like the whole street is there and everybody is using up the whole road and walking down the middle type thing.
Right.
I mean, it's probably a bit worse than a mall.
Yeah, I mean, it looked
but
like people were.
It's not. It's like I went to a mall and it was,
Right.
pretty close.
Yeah, I didn't.
For me personally, though, I was sort of out the back. So, definitely if you were up front there, like doing the haka and getting all amongst it, then probably, yeah, maybe a bit different.
Right.
But a bit closer.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I obviously hope that certainly that is not the case and we're down to zero, and, you know, but I also hope that, you know, this isn't happening with all these protests, because that's where the real concern is, you know, particularly in America.
Yeah.
Don Bosco-Held? Don Bosco-Held.
Yeah.
He asked, have you heard the story in Germany where they continued shooting a show and they just used their own partners with wigs for intimate scenes?
Yeah.
Which brings me to the question, how would you handle...
I haven't heard
Which
that.
brings me to the question, how would you handle things if you would shoot a series or a movie in these times? Well, I mean, I don't know what the rulings are going to be, because I feel like, again, with this whole New Zealand filmmaking utopia, they may be, well, like, look, yeah, you just do everything because we're at 0 cases currently. So you guys want to get on it in the film, you just go for it, you know? I know they have lots of restrictions in place like today, but if we go down to sort of level 1, well, presumably that means that, you know, so does the film industry here, which means that I guess that they can do whatever they want. You know, we get sex scenes back, guys. Sex scenes are coming back.
Well,
Kissing is coming back.
Only if you come to New Zealand.
You come to New Zealand.
So, yeah. So this is another one of the carrots that we dangle over here, so to speak.
Sex scenes in films.
Sex scenes. Yes, exactly. That's something you can shoot. Intimacy on film. You can shoot in New Zealand soon, where you may not be able to in Hollywood for quite a wee while.
Well, obviously, I mean, someone's going to...
Quite some
Someone
time,
is going to...
I'm sure.
someone is gonna do a movie around two people falling in love in COVID-19, and the whole premise is going to be around them being apart from each other, whether that is like physically apart in terms of like it's like someone typing away some shit on the internet, or it's actually going to be like, oh, I love you, but stay 1 meter away from me, baby. And how do we have a relationship like this? And let's work out all these. Let me get one of those little back scratcher things and just caress your face with it from
toss you off with it.
2 minutes.
Toss you off.
Those sticky, those slapper hands, those ones that you.
You know what they'll use? They'll use my fucker wall,
well,
where you've got a big latex thing, a big plastic sheet, and a condom in it, and you can have sex. It's a big plastic sheet that divides the room in two.
I know, but that definitely poses a literal wall between the two people, and I feel like the real interest of this film is being close but not close, not fucking with a fucking big plastic wall between you. I don't think that's going to be how this movie.
What about a glory hole though? Just a glory hole. How this movie
plays out is not going to be with a glory.
No glory hole.
Glory hole, I imagine. So someone's going to make a lot of money with that because look, we're all going to see it because we're like, oh, COVID, yeah, I remember that, or oh yeah, COVID, I'm living that right now. I'm in my fucking house. Oh, maybe this is how I start a romance now. So it's a very opportune time to write that script, or if it hasn't been written already, or get to filming it. But yes, we can promise you sex scenes in New Zealand. They will be coming back shortly. It's weird because I haven't really watched, like, over here, the New Zealand television and film industry just stopped. They didn't really continue. And they came back when it was kind of safe to come back because we came back so quickly, from being on these heightened stages of lockdown. Therefore, things could go back to normal immediately, whereas seems to be what's happening overseas, where these levels are going to be maintained for many more months. It's like, okay, we have to get back into production, and we can't go back to normal. So we've got to do all these weird things where everyone stands 2 meters apart, and we use long lenses. There's no romance or anything like that, or it's all implied, but we never see it. Or people are using their partners with wigs, whatever the case is. And we don't really have that issue. But it's going to be an interesting thing. So I haven't personally seen any shows where I'm like, wow, I'm watching a real COVID shoot right now. Like, this must be an all COVID set because they are really far apart from one another. But maybe that's happening in our favorite soap opera, which I was dismayed had resumed filming over all the other things that might have resumed filming.
Right. Yes. New Zealand's national treasure.
Street.
Which I would love to be on. Shortland Street. Now, speaking of hospitals and television and productions and so on, our film, Asylum, was nominated recently for Best Makeup and was accepted into a film festival and nominated for Best Makeup at the festival called the Vision Feast Film Festival. So if we win the best makeup, then we get a screening, but it's not necessarily screening. It's only screening if we win best makeup,
or if it makes it into the semifinals. I feel like that will also. Yeah,
I think
so we're one of the.
I thought it was just playing the winners, but I could be. I don't know. I didn't read it.
I can't remember actually. You might be right, but if we graduate to the next level of this festival, we will have a screening.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Exactly. So that's cool. Go check out the Vision Feast Film Festival, and our film Asylum will be playing there at some point. It's a New Zealand film festival. And thank you for the congratulations on the live stream. And it was actually congratulations to Julie Clark and B Johnson, who did all the work together to do all the makeup on this burnt witch lady, this burnt witch ghost that had to scare everybody.
Wailing,
so well done to them.
Wailing burnt witch ghost look that they that they had to achieve. So it was a lot of makeup. I think it was like a 2 or 3 hour makeup job, and the actress who Haley Crawford, who had to endure that every day that she was on set. And then she also, once you put the contacts in, couldn't really see. So we're having her...
because she wears glasses normally, maybe.
And also
or
the
something like
contacts
that.
were just kind of cheap contacts. So when you essentially,
Yeah.
what you're doing is, because they were sort of whiting out her eyes, but in doing so, that whiteness is kind of completely obscuring her vision. Whereas if it was a pair of like sort of $1,000 contacts, that white would be opaque enough for her to see through. However, these were cheap ones because it was a low budget-ish web series, and so she couldn't see. So she had to run around an abandoned asylum screaming in 3 hours worth of makeup without also really being able to see much of anything. So hats off to her.
Good
hats
times.
off to her.
The actor's life.
The glamorous actor's
life.
life. With her face. Well, it was. It kind of looked like a pizza, Meat Lover's Pizza. The makeup.
Her face like a face kind
very
of looked a bit
Freddy
like that,
Krueger-ish, which is sort of what we talked about and what we were going for, which was good. So hopefully we'll progress on to the next part. But if not, it's good to just be in the running, in the hunt, in the conversation, just like Harley and his auditions.
Yep, it's true. No, it's always good to be there or thereabouts. It is always good as well to show in my case, to show my agent that I'm always kind of close and that I should continue being put forward for things, because I'm always kind of there or thereabouts.
As opposed to being fired, which is where my agent decided to put me.
Right. Yeah. They dropped you and you still didn't get back on.
Dropped me like
what's
a bad
interesting
habit.
is I got my first audition, out of lockdown, was for a cool role on a TV show. Not normally, but often it's like kind of, soul destroying audition, ads, soul destroying auditions for ads, where you kind of like, this is cool. And I just want to do it and I can totally do it. But instead I have to go in here and kind of prove that I can do it and compete with everybody and stuff. And and you just normally you don't get it. And half the time you're doing kind of like silly stuff.
Silly, weird, imaginary shit. Where it's like, imagine you're a dinosaur. You're a dinosaur. You're a T-Rex. You're stomping around the room, and then you lift up on your back feet and you let out a huge roar. I want to hear you roar. And you're like, viewers. And then everybody's like, oh, that was brilliant. Thank you. And you're like, God, I feel like a jackass. Total jackass.
Yeah, well, that's New Zealand viewers will know that you're talking about the ad on TV right now, or I think it's still on, where that has a unicorn fighting a T-Rex in the living room of somebody's house, and it turns out to be the imagination of a father and his daughter as they, run around and knock things over.
Yes, one of my last auditions.
And you auditioned to be the T-Rex, but you showed up thinking that you were going to be the unicorn. So you rehearsed to be a unicorn, and then they're like, cool, all right, you ready? Now be a T-Rex, go. And you're like, I was
like, I'm confused. So that was that was very difficult, because once you start in the mindset of a unicorn, you can't just flip it to a T-Rex.
A T-Rex on no notice. My heart would have sunk at that moment, when they go, yeah. So no. You're the T-Rex.
Honestly, I mean, to be fair, I was kind of like,
that's probably why you got dropped, because they were like, they got feedback back to your agent. It was like, man, this guy.
And we asked for a freaking T-Rex,
and he kept doing the unicorn.
He kept neighing like a unicorn. Like, what is wrong with him? Yes, that is definitely possible. To be honest, I wasn't that phased, because I was like, I always don't get, like, don't get these auditions. I don't get these auditions, but I also often don't get the script. Like, I look at the script, I think I know what it's meant to be, and then they kind of come in and they go, so all these things are completely the opposite of what you've been thinking. Go. And a lot of the time, I'm just kind of like, wait, am I that character? I'm not that character. Oh, okay. Oh,
see, that's
right.
In the
okay.
The acting world, they call that preparation.
Yeah.
You've got to do that.
Yeah, well, I'm
Do the
not a big fan of
preparation.
that. Not a big fan of preparation.
Not a big prep fan. Yeah, yeah.
Definitely not.
Because sometimes you got to do it different ways.
Yeah.
Joss taught me a good trick. Here's an acting trick that I learned from our dear friend Joss. When I'm learning the lines, with her, we'll do things like pretend we're playing basketball, or do the script in a really high English voice, or do it like you're drunk, or do it in all different types of ways to just experiment with feeling the words in your mouth these different ways, and just knowing it inside and out because you've done it so many different ways. And then when you walk into the audition and they go, "What? You didn't know you're doing a handstand and doing it, with a silly accent?" You go, "Yeah, okay, sweet as I've done that actually. Already done that. Sweet."
When they go, hey, could you cut out that funny high English accent that you're doing? And you go, oh, yeah,
It's really weird.
Yeah, whoops.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I recently came to your school
You
as
did.
well.
Inspiring the youth
Yeah.
of tomorrow. So you
Yeah.
came to talk about the.
Now, hang on. Before you jump into this, you have a small crackle in your microphone still, but it's not as bad as it was earlier.
Okay.
But it is still there sometimes. Now, if it's an easy fix, then you should do it. And if it's going to ruin the show, then we can live with it. Oh, he's doing it already. That's fine. So yeah, I'm inspiring I went and I inspired the kids. I did want to say that sounded worse, but say something else.
Trying again. How's my mic?
Oh, it sounds beautiful
okay,
now.
Brilliant. So I'm in this. Yes, I'm in a terrible situation.
Technical difficulty.
Where I have this cable which plugs my microphone into my computer, and I've assessed that this is where the problem is. It's definitely not amazing, but I don't have another cable of the same make that I can just swap it out with. So I kind of have to fiddle around with it and go, is this all right? Does this sound okay? It's crackling. It's not crackling. And so now we're getting this little crackle. So I do apologize to the listeners, because if you don't have...
It sounds pretty good.
Don't have good audio and a podcast, you got fucking nothing, don't you? We fucking just give up. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, look, maybe we can add it to the list of things that we're going to buy, because we are going to upgrade. Oh, well, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about me inspiring the youth of tomorrow as well. We'll start with that. But we are also planning to upgrade, so we can upgrade this this cable.
Yes, we are. We're upgrading, and also right before.
We'll do. Yeah, we're going to inspire the kids.
We'll go back to that, because now you've switched topics.
Okay. No, well, I was teasing a topic. I was teasing the topic that's coming up.
Okay, you're
that's what I was doing.
Inspiring the youth of today. So you come to my class, and you were there to talk about sort of social media marketing, and I did think you might talk a little bit more about your journey and your career, which you didn't really touch on. You kind of just really...
Yeah, I didn't really tell them anything about me.
They had no fucking clue who you were. You're just some guy.
Well, that was your job, to prepare them who was coming.
I was like, Harley will definitely give some indication of who he is.
Explain who he is.
He will...
Yeah, but I didn't last year, because I actually used my same notes from last year.
But you did, yes. So the one thing that you did also, you kind of you started by talking about our short film that we worked on. And but there was maybe just that was my only criticism. I thought it was a very good I thought it was a very good session. But it felt like there was just not quite enough connection between the first story and maybe us or you personally to begin with. It just felt like we jumped into this.
Well, because I basically just said that I've been making movies with you for ages.
And also maybe how you sort of generated interest in your social media, the connection, how you connected it back to us and filmmaking. But those were my only two things. It was very good, and I think it's very hard to tell with students because they don't give away fucking anything. Students are the master of the poker face. Are they bored? Are they completely disengaged? Are they listening? to music and not listening to you? Are they surfing on Facebook as you talk? Sometimes there's just no way to really know. And so they kind of watch and I'm hoping are listening intently, but I sometimes fear are not.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, truth be told, my farts went down like, sorry, my jokes went down like a fart in church, I believe is what you said.
I did say that.
You said,
as soon as you cracked the first joke, I was like, oh no.
Oh boy.
I was like, this is gonna be painful. I was like, this could really go badly right now.
Yeah.
But fortunately, your jokes, you had about 4 or 5 jokes spread throughout your speech, so you only bombed 5 times within the context of your whole talk.
At one point, I got a laugh. A guy went,
"Who? Me?"
No, somebody else.
Okay.
The guy that was directly in front of me. Yeah. Also, my dick pics joke that got a chuckle.
Dick pic. I was like, oh my god, this dick pic. Are you serious? Like, I thought you were then gonna go.
It was such a dad joke.
So essentially, what happened is you get me to put up a slide, and it shows a guitar pic, like a little guitar pic. My girlfriend says it's hilarious. A little guitar pic, but
is she
with
serious?
The word, with the word dick on it. And then you go, it looks like you found one of my dick pics.
Oh, yeah, I go, oh, sorry, that's one of my dick pics. We can move on.
Yeah.
We can move on. Next picture, please.
I was like, are you meant to be what is this, a comedy show, or are you actually trying to teach them something here?
Hey, humor is a great way to get people to remember it. And if you will recall, 2 of the students stayed back and talked to me for quite some time afterwards. Now, do they normally hang back and talk to you after the bloody class?
Unfortunately, sometimes they do. And I'm obviously hoping to get out of there. And then they want to chat about the lesson. And I obviously happy to help.
You're obliged to.
But no, it was good. It was good. And it was a good talk. But it was just funny. Even the first one, which is like, you were like, hello, I'm Harley Neville, and I'm an alcoholic, and then you like pause for like too long, and then you're like, oh no, sorry, that's my 2:00 appointment. I was like, what, really? Is this how we're starting?
Yeah.
Is this how we're starting?
Okay, but then, what about later? I'm talking about being the hairy meme, and then I've got a picture of my newspaper cutting of me from when I was on the Ellen show, and it's a newspaper cutting on the fridge, and I say that's my mum's fridge, and it was a proud day that day, and there's some Heine bottles in the corner. And some Heineken bottles in the corner, and I'm like, we had a few Heinekens that day. God. I could go a Heine.
No, and I was like, oh man, I was like,
it's a callback.
I was like, these jokes. I was like, he's out of practice. His stand up, he's really out of practice.
Okay, now here, listen to this. I, for a start, I have not performed in a very, very long time. I have not spoken to an audience in a very long time, but also it was literally the same gags I used last year, and it was great last year. It was a big fucking hit last year.
I felt like it definitely went over better, and part of it is because there's less people than the last one. But also I do think too that the one guy, right, who was a dad, who was our age, was at the last one, laughing at your dad jokes. Yeah, right. So you see the connection there, whereas there was not any.
There's no dads
in the audience. Is there any dads in the audience? Can I get a hand up? Is there any dads in the audience right now? Heinies, am I right?
Okay, so I haven't done anything like that for a long time. I had not put very much effort into my notes because I actually had a very bad week leading up to it. In fact, I postponed it. Because I couldn't do it. And then I on Tuesday, though, I turned out. I showed up. I got it done. Okay, the jokes went down like a fart in the elevator, right? But you know, overall, I feel like I actually made a
The
weird
rest,
connection, and I do think they thought I think they thought it
the
was pretty
rest of the
funny.
content was the actual stuff that you were teaching them was good. It's just the jokes that didn't work.
the, the jokes were what made it, but the jokes were what made it memorable.
So, but I
They were fucking smitten as well. I tell you what, they were all looking at me regularly. They were paying attention, like literally, because you kind of keep an eye on who they're going to start fucking around on those computers. Because they're all sitting in front of
Yep.
computers. This is another bad thing about your class is that last year it was an open space between me and them. So it was an audience and me together. Whereas this time it was me and they were all hidden behind, they were all spread out all over the room.
COVID-19.
And they were hidden behind these big monitors. They were hidden behind these big monitors. So it was like difficult to kind of connect with them as much. So, you know, I'm just saying it was a bad theater too.
Well, to be fair, I probably could have done something about that.
But they were still, they were connecting.
I could have made them like kind of gather round.
Guy actually filmed it.
I did film it.
Guy filmed it. So it is plausible. I don't. It is plausible. I have to listen to it. Yeah, I have to censor it first, or okay it first. But I could listen to it. Maybe we could upload it as a piece of bonus content.
Look, it's got some good lessons about social media in there. Like, there's a lot of good information. Yeah.
Part of the issue is I don't want to give away all.
Well,
my
that's
tricks.
the thing. I'd keep those to yourself. So currently, it's a private link. The students, and in fact, the student, one of the students requested. They're like, because he's like, I want to watch that again, and I was like, sweet, I will upload that. So and then he actually hit me up the next day. He goes, have you got that link? And I was like, yeah, I did actually upload that. So there you go. So I emailed it through to him. So
there you go. Literally, demand is fucking through the roof, mate.
Yeah.
They're loving it. They're loving it. He wants to watch it again so much that he's followed up twice.
Yeah. Well, I should say, you know, speaking of my
and your girlfriend. Your girlfriend said it was funny. Now, was she serious?
No, she was.
Does
she
really think
she
it's
thought
funny?
that was a good one. I was talking about her. I was talking about the jokes. I was talking about the jokes.
Which one? Which one did you think was funny again?
The dick favorite was the dick pic one. That was definitely the one that really worked for her.
Did you show her the video?
No, I just explained what you did. Yeah,
just told her. Yeah.
She liked that. So.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Speaking of my class and my school, I won an award today. So
best mullet
on campus. An award come through, celebrating excellence, awarded to Guy Pigden, School of Digital Technologies, teaching champion of the month. So I am the teaching champion of the month. I'm currently undefeated in this month of teaching. No one has managed to beat me. I hold the belt for teaching. And I have defeated, 300 other teachers to win this belt, this teaching champion belt.
Now, what is this based on?
Here, look.
How did it come to this decision?
I'll just say a couple things about this award. Now, how did I receive this award? I got an email. What did the email say? Nothing. What was the email exactly? It was a link to a Google Drive document, which if I clicked on, I would see this celebrating excellence. And that immediately made me a little bit suspect. I was like, why don't you at least say congratulations or something in the text? Like, why don't you at least write some text in this email rather than share this thing? And I was like, this seems a little suspect, because I'm also not confident that I would win the teaching championship belt this month. I feel like I'm a solid.
But it was from an official source.
From an official source, yep. It was from the head of the school. I had to take it at face value until I got a few more emails coming through. It turned out that this month, due to COVID-19, every teacher in the school had been awarded the teaching champion of the month. So I'm the teaching champion of the month with every single other teacher that literally has a job at that school.
Yeah.
I only just found that out.
Participation
I only
trophy.
found that out. Yeah, so I found that out after the fact when I came back and people were emailing through. Oh, this award, so cool that we all got this, and I was like, well, that explains a few things. So unfortunately, my teaching championship has
mate,
to be shared.
If I was you, though, I'd keep a hold of that, and I'd just mention it in your CV. Teacher, here's all the things you did. Here's the recognition you received. They're not going to know anything. They're just going to think it's like employee of the month. They're not going to know that everybody got one. That's what I'd be doing. Bam, straight on the CV.
The biggest disappointment about this teaching award is purely the fact that, it doesn't actually, even if you win it normally, it's that classic thing I remember when I was one of the top rated Uber drivers in Auckland. Hey, congratulations, guy! You're one of the top rated Uber drivers in Auckland. Passengers find you this, blah blah blah, find you that. Well, good. Give me some fucking money then for doing such a good job. Don't just sit there and congratulate me. Who gives a shit? Give me a reward. You reward people that work hard. Isn't that the whole point? No, it's not. This is the new thing. This is the classic new workplace thing. Congratulations, you've won the award. Do you feel special? You don't get anything to make you feel special, but do you? Do you feel special? So, of course, in this case, I wasn't even special. But I just thought I'd share my. So I'm the current teaching champion, April 2020. Teaching champion of the world.
After my performance the other day at your school, do you think maybe you could get me a job as a teacher? I mean, if you're qualified to be a teacher, surely I'm as qualified to be a teacher. Maybe I could get in there.
You'd think so.
I'm an unemployed person currently.
You'd think that was
I've spoken in front of heaps of schools. I've spoken in front of heaps of schools.
You'd think that was a possibility, right?
Those dad jokes. It's good stuff.
Until you realized your level of computer illiteracy. And as soon as people tweaked onto that, you'd be done, mate. You'd be cooked.
You got to remember, guy. All of my jobs are technical. That's all I do. I work in live broadcast TV. Everything I do involves computers. There's I've just found my evolutionarily stable strategy. The trick is to appear useless at everything. Nobody asks you to do anything.
Well, I mean, like I said,
But obviously, you still need to get by.
Yeah. I'm not sure that. Yeah, I don't know. When the students are teaching you, are you really a teacher? So it's
well, on the live stream, a whole bunch of numbers /low says hey there. So
how's it going?
Now
15 numbers /low. Yeah.
I went on the Emma G podcast a little while ago as well. I tried to upload that as bonus content to the Guy and Harley page, but I couldn't figure out how to rip it from Facebook, unfortunately, and that's the only place it is. But Emma G is a musician in America.
Which has nothing to do with your computer illiteracy.
Oh, I thought we were finished because I didn't want to argue about it because I do technical things all day.
But you couldn't figure out how to take this off Facebook and upload it.
Oh, no, it was more like I gave up because it's not that important, but I had to go, and then it was like, well, look, my normal ripper doesn't rip it, so oh well. But anyway, you can go to the Emma G, look up Emma G, who's a musician in Washington, and I did an interview with her, and I shared it on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Guy and Harley. So go and check that out if you get the chance. We talk about the state of America and all sorts of stuff because she's a Kiwi musician based over in Washington.
Well, I hope she's keeping safe, and best wishes and for all our friends over in America at the moment. Hope everyone is staying safe and keeping their cool and trying to get by because it's getting purged. It's getting purged like over there. It's getting purge, like as in the movie The Purge. It's feels like it's escalating. Things are escalating. They're not de-escalating. So I just hope all our friends
absolutely not.
Over there are managing to keep safe, and if you're protesting, you're managing to do that safely. Yeah.
Well, it's a crazy old time, right? Like America's falling apart, and like every word that this impotent mewling fool in the White House says is making worse. He can do nothing about it, and everything he does is just actively making it worse. It's crazy. It's the worst pandemic in recent history. It still hasn't ended. It's not getting better anytime soon. It's going to spread more during all of this. Trump, what are you up to? The whole thing. It's crazy. It's madness. He needs 6 feet of social distancing. That Trump, I reckon. Boom.
Nailed it.
But
got him.
Yeah. I did notice. Well, it's an election year, right? So at least the good news is that theoretically, surely he will be voted out this year. I believe in the American people, and I believe that man will be voted out this year in a landslide victory. And it doesn't matter that Biden is not really the ideal candidate. He's what we've got. Sometimes it's not you don't get the person you need, but it's just the person you've got, right?
Yeah.
So basically America, it rubs the Biden on its skin, or else it gets the Trump again.
I like that. A little throwback to that famous film where someone throws jizz on Jodie Foster's face.
I don't remember that scene. I should probably rewatch.
We have actually
The Silence of the Lambs.
We have actually talked about this on the podcast, and my shock at remembering that happens near the start of the film.
Well, that would be a memorable thing to a young boy. How old were you when you watched it?
I guess I probably would have been 16 or something like that when I first saw it.
Okay, so you were the perfect time to be remembering that scene.
Well, to be honest, I forgot that scene then. When I rewatched it in my 20s, I was like, man, this is a great film, but this jizz throwing thing would never happen today. This is not happening in the Marvel blockbusters, even though this was a blockbuster film. So that was my sort of point back then. So yes, you were referencing Buffalo Bill, I believe.
Yes, from Silence of the Lambs.
So yeah, but Scary Times.
But yeah, and on the live stream, an American listener, the same one with all the numbers, it's apparently their social security number is their name. They say they haven't left the house in months. America's fine.
Everything's fine.
So everything's fine. This is fine. Now, Biden recently got on the radio and offended a lot of people by saying that if black people didn't vote for him, that they in fact were not black.
Maybe not the best wording.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how he phrased it, but it was something along the lines of, boy. I say, boy. Now, you ain't black until I say you're black. Am I clear? Something like that, which pissed off a lot of people.
Because we also talked about, Obama's endorsement, where he sort of goes, vote Biden, blah, blah, blah. He's the man we need.
Yeah.
And so, and there's this huge thing all about it, and you could just, and then Biden says something like that, you could just think about Obama face palming somewhere in his house, just going, "Oh, he's like, Biden, why did you? I just but my whole video, I inspired everyone. Why did you have to go and? Oh God, but he's obviously.
But he's what?
Look, he's going to be a million times.
He's the man with God.
He's going to be a million times better than Trump. So you got to start somewhere. Yeah. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you do. And he, as the former right hand man of Obama, you could do a lot. You could do a lot worse. You could do a lot worse.
Social security number man says just call him or her low. You bastards.
Yeah. So while we're doing a couple of quick shout outs, I wanted to shout out to Kef Emsey. Kef Emsey commented the other day, junk food, this is on YouTube, junk food plus the Guy and Harley podcast equals the perfect hangover. So that's nice. That's cool. All right. That's a good way to spend a hungover day. Personally, I prefer junk food with a blowjob and some spooning and a nap for my hangovers. But sadly, those days are few and far between.
Settle with the podcast.
But I'm sure. Yeah. I just get the podcasting and the junk food. But I mean, the podcast is pretty good as well. But here's how I handle hangovers, Kef. This is how I do it. In preparation for the hangover, I drink a bit of water throughout the night, alternating there. I always try to do that. In the morning, I like to sleep as late as I possibly can because time flows faster when you're asleep. So if you can just sleep through the whole thing, you're really winning. And then once I get up, it's a cold shower, or at least a normal shower, which I then turn cold at the end, full cold for a while. And then I like to drink Coca-Cola and do absolutely nothing. That's what I do.
I will say that the best hangover cure, in my experience, is sleeping for about 20 hours. So if you can. So if you kind of wake up in the morning, just go back to sleep, wake up, go back to just keep going back to sleep. And at some point, somewhere in the evening, when you've completely fucking wasted a whole day that you could never afford to do, you'll be like, hey, I feel kind of good. I mean,
but you'll still wake up feeling kind of tired, so you can still maybe go to bed early that night.
Yeah.
Depending on how much you did it, how much you overdid it. Yeah. Kef MZ found us through watching I Survived a Zombie Holocaust and then discovered the podcast and fell in love with us.
Well, thank you very much, Kef MZ. And Tyler also said that there is a curfew now, that you can't go out after 8 p.m. So that's in America. It's the 8 p.m. curfew. So if you like having a...
Is that nationwide or something? Or is it kind of just... It must just be certain cities where there's trouble spots.
I imagine
must be
certain cities or states, but you know, who knows? But it's... I mean, that's...
The listeners.
That's pretty disturbing.
Chuck Black is another quick shout out. He gave us a donation on PayPal. He says it's for beer, coffee, or masks, whatever we see fit. But because we're currently doing the podcast from separate houses, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to spend all the money on alcohol, which I then drink myself. So what I'm going to spend it on is I'm going to spend my half on alcohol for myself, and I'm going to spend Guy's half promoting this episode of the podcast on Facebook. So thank you very much, Chuck Black. Thank you for that. If anybody else would like to make a donation for beers or whatever, you can give us a donation via PayPal. All you need is our email address, which is pigvilleproductions@gmail.com. And on that note, I've noticed that you've gone straight edge on these last few episodes. You're on the coffee. And I wondered if this was in preparation for your upcoming operation or if it was simply an affront to all that is holy.
Sorry, guys, just bear with me. I've just frozen, right? If you look at me on the live stream, you can just see my face is paused and it's paused intently listening to you. So I'm just going to try and swap out my camera battery, which looks like it's gone dead. So, but have I gone straight edge?
So it's fixable.
Have I gone straight edge?
Yeah.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I have this operation coming up, and it's been encouraged by my girlfriend that I should stop being a fat, beer drinking, junk food eating slob and try and get myself in shape before the operation, because after the operation, can't do shit. So I've sort of, I used to greatly enjoy going out to purchase those beers, and she's put the sort of, she's put the hex on me, and I now have to sip on a coffee as best I can. It's very sad. Now I'm just going to change my thing.
Yes, you do that. Yep, it does make sense. Obviously for him to keep that in mind with an upcoming operation, which he will be getting put under and all that stuff to fix his bum hip. Which reminds me that the synopsis for this show is starting to get a little too easy to write, because basically I just copy paste it from the week before. It says virtually the same thing every time. The thing, different wording of this, but this is basically what the synopsis of the Guy and Harley podcast says every time. It says something along the lines of, the boys discuss current affairs with their own ignorant, ill-informed opinions from the bottom of the world. Guy has got a bum hip and Harley is desperately single. We have updates on our projects Older and Emmy the Vegan. All this plus dick jokes inserted at every opportunity. So tune in, subscribe, and say hello to your mum for us. Same thing every week. That's virtually Virtually
Now,
what it says.
are you suggesting that we're sort of like a one-trick pony? that we're
Yeah, well, I guess that's what I'm
that
getting
we're
at.
not
Yeah.
original
Yeah.
and we have nothing to contribute with each new podcast.
Well, we make up original dick jokes every podcast.
Cool. So I'm back. The camera has been reset. Back in business.
Good. So we are going to upgrade gear.
We are going to upgrade gear. So what we're hoping for is a fully sort of a multi-camera studio.
Now, this is for the podcast. We want to up our game here, people. This is breaking news. We have decided to make a considerable investment in getting this live stream looking and sound well. It'll sound just
exactly
the same virtually, but it will look a lot better. Both of our cameras will be good, and we will have a studio in Guy's house. In his spare room, which we will have 3 cameras, so we'll be able to cut from each of us as we talk and have a wide shot as well. All that will it'll be nicely lit. It'll be coming out in HD, getting all up in your face, and I'm excited by that.
Yes,
turning this into a talk show, proper
talk show. It's going to be a talk show, and in theory, we'll be able to bring up graphics and things. It'll be just like the Joe Rogan podcast without the millions of viewers and the $100 million Spotify contract that he's just taken.
That guy, so basically he's doing stand-up comedy around LA for a while, and then he lands a job on a little TV show called Fear Factor. And now he has become, like this cult influential icon in heaps of sort of weird circles, and nailing it.
To be fair, he did also work for the UFC for a solid, 5 or 10 years before his sort of podcast exploded in the way that it has. But, a 100 million Spotify deal doesn't sound too bad. At the end of the day, he is just kind of doing exactly what we're doing.
Well, especially when I go on my political rants and so on. My hilarious political rants. These totally fit with the Joe Rogan model. And that other guy, that English guy with the bookie wook.
Who?
What's his name? Bookie wook. My bookie wook. My bookie wook. You've read it. Russell Brand.
Yes,
Russell Brand.
Yep.
I'm New Zealand's Russell Brand. That's me.
Yep. So we're going to upgrade the studio. We're going to have multiple cameras, and somehow that is going to make everything a million times better.
Yeah. No. It will. It'll make the live stream look good, and perhaps we could introduce some structure to the show a little. Maybe
dangerous talk. Structure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Some structure. Well, I imagine if we made it a 1-hour show, the first 15 minutes is about, like current affairs. The second 15 is sort of, an update on our lives, dating and operations and so on. The third part is filmmaking specific, and then the fourth part is freestyling, or like free sort of, we can fill it with what we want, or we can have a think about it, or whatever. Updates on our projects, all that stuff. Or did I say that? Anyway, we could have a little bit of structure, maybe. I don't know.
So, speaking of structure,
what do the listeners think?
Speaking of structure, let's fucking regain some. So, I will just say one thing before we finish up on that. Before we started this, I was hanging up a sound panel in that room where we're going to be doing our podcast, and my girlfriend was drilling holes in the walls to stick it up and have it hanging there to improve the sound quality, acoustic treatment. So that was just phase 1. I've also got some photographic background stuff that I've just purchased that I'm going to hang up behind us, and there's some more sound panels on the way, and it's all going to be very cool in the new studio. So looking forward to all of that. It's going to be really cool to be doing it, and we'll be doing it as much as we can. We'll be doing it live together. And you'll have a smaller microphone that does not
doesn't
that
obscure
is not the
my
same
face.
size as your head, which is what it looks like it is currently.
Yeah.
Exactly the same, which is not, that's too big for a microphone. If it's the same size as your head, it's too big.
Yeah.
So I will say, now you sent me something interesting the other day. You sent me pretty much our first and only older review, which we got from Germany when our film debuted over there.
Older.
Um,
Older is our second feature film, and you can go and watch the trailer on YouTube by searching Older Pigville trailer, and you'll find it. Or you can just go to olderfilm.com and you can and you can learn all about our second feature film, Older, which we've just sent away to the sales agent. They're going to be rushing that through, I'm sure, expediting it, getting it out at some point this year. And it'll also come out in New Zealand, and we'll keep you posted about how to do that.
I am a little...
and we've just had our first kind of review.
So I am a little bit concerned. We sent this away to our sales agent quite some time ago, and they said, look, there's going to be a delay on it getting there. But I didn't send it slow post.
Yeah.
I sent it fast post. It did cost me $60 to send this fucking... hard drive, and I was and I sent it tracked and all that sort of thing, and they're like, yeah, it's going to take it normally takes 6 days. It was 6 days like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, and I said, well, just let us know as soon as it arrives. They haven't let me know that. The last I heard, it hadn't arrived, and I'm just getting a little bit nervous about that. You know, COVID is messing with our delivery of this of this film.
Well, if it's tracked, then we should be able to, hopefully we can find it. But yeah, we don't want to delay it any more than we need to. My RAM finally arrived. I ordered some RAM before lockdown. It did not arrive, and then they had to resend it to me. And so I don't know what happened to the first lot of RAM. But hopefully it still shows up, and then I'll sell it to some of the CD160.
So this review of Older is in German, which is a problem because we don't speak German.
Well, yeah, it's not really a review though. I think that's just the synopsis, which is in German. The only bit of it that's actually a review is the star ratings that it gave it. So it's got 4 or 5 different categories, and each one is a star rating.
All of those words are simply a translation of the synopsis.
I'm pretty sure that I translated it. I could be wrong, but I think I copy pasted it, translated it using the traductor, and it was the same thing. It wasn't saying anything, I don't think. But double check.
But also,
by all means, but I'm pretty sure
only in Germany would a film review be based on like a kind of a star rating system, but not 5 stars. Just like, you know, normally you give a review 5 stars, right? This has got all these different criteria of star ratings. Classic Germans, right? So this is our...
Very precise people.
This is our star rating. So it is out of 5 stars for each category. So
and how many categories are there?
4 categories.
Okay, so there's 4 categories, and in each category you get a rating out of 5 stars.
So for the entertainment rating, 4 out of 5 stars.
Hey, that's not bad. That person that watched that was quite highly entertained. They were quite highly entertained. On an entertainment level, they gave it 4 out of 5. That's actually pretty damn good. Pretty good.
The thrillingness of the movie, right? How thrilling this movie is, 2 stars. Not very thrilling.
Now, no. To be fair, though,
that.
thrilling does imply... Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not a movie about explosions. It's not a thriller.
Murder mystery.
There's no explosions. No, it's not a thriller second.
So, 2 out of...
It's a slice of life.
5, yeah. It's just people sitting around chatting.
I mean, if anything, though, you would look at that category and say, look, man, you're bringing down our star average for no reason, because you can't judge
take thrills out of this.
Yeah, you can't judge it. You can't judge a fish by its ability to climb a ladder.
So, 2 stars for thrills. So you won't get much thrills if you watch this film. Ambition.
Yeah.
3 out of 5 stars.
Okay. Look, I think that's actually pretty good when you consider, on the one hand, our film was very ambitious in the sense that we shot it for very, very little money. So it was shot. It was very ambitious in the sense it had a lot of locations and all that type of thing.
And it took
But
7
you would
years to
expect a
finish.
reviewer, and it took a yes, a very long time to finish. But you would expect that perhaps a reviewer wouldn't see it that way because they would see just the, the fact that
It's
people
just people
talking in
sitting around
rooms.
cafes talking.
Yeah. So it's not exactly like we went and shot a movie on the
No.
moon, or did some weird and wacky, crazy new filming style or anything like that. But we just made a solid movie, and it was ambitious for us for
Yeah.
that budget. So it's kind of surprising, I think, that he'd give us 3 out of 5 for ambition. But hey, I guess he or she, sorry, is just a talented reviewer that recognizes talent and ambition when he sees it
Well,
or
I
she
would
sees
just
it.
say that, to this reviewer, bro, my ambitions are always 5 stars.
Mm.
Right.
Mm. Speak on it. Speak
But,
on it.
okay, that's 3 out of 5. So the final category, emotion.
Yeah.
5 stars.
5 out of 5. This person was on board for this film, for this story. They were on board. They thought it was emotional and
it's a 5-star.
entertaining.
Emotionally speaking, it's a 5-star classic.
Yeah.
From an emotional point of view, 5 stars.
Yeah.
Taken through all those
4 out of 5
emotions.
entertainment. That's pretty good. Olderfilm.com. If you want to go and watch the trailer, go to olderfilm.com right now, and you can go and watch it later after the show.
This review was playing with my emotions with the 2 and the 3-star thrill and ambition, but then really came back strong with the 5 stars on emotions.
Yeah.
And now, of course, what we have to do is take that 5 stars, assign it to this magazine or wherever you found it, this website, and simply put those 2 together because it was 5 stars. 5 stars emotion.
It was.
It's a 5-star film.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Walk away.
Yeah.
Say no more.
Look, I'm all for it.
No more.
They never
Do not classify.
They'll never
No
know.
clarification needed.
Yeah.
5 stars. So thank you very much for that 5-star review. I don't know which, is there a name in this review of this? It's really hard because we don't.
But we do have a new trailer coming out at some point as well for our second feature film, Older.
We do.
Is that correct?
We do indeed. And
yes. So it's waiting in the wings at the moment, but it's ready, but it's waiting in the wings. We've also got a new poster, which is also waiting in the wings.
Yes, that was so we have one poster which has gone away to our sales agent, and in the meantime, I was sort of putting together another poster as a sort of an alternate option. And when I say I wasn't doing anything. I was using some guy to do it, but he's done a pretty good job.
Right.
I don't think it's as good as our original poster in terms of the sort of what you get out of it maybe, but it's still a very solid poster and one that will help us with hopefully a different market. The non threesome market. When we're not trying to appeal to the threesome market, which is what the first poster appeals to. When we don't want to target specifically people who are interested in threesomes, we'll go to this other poster.
Yeah. Well, you've got to have multiple marketing assets for these things. Multiple posters, multiple versions of the trailer. If you can afford it, multiple versions of everything that appeals to slightly different audiences. Each one designed to appeal to a slightly different audience in order to reach the most amount of people and direct them back to this one piece of entertainment.
And we should also see that we are hoping to get some post-production help with the film. We were reapplying for some funding help, which we originally were rejected for because we didn't have a deep enough or a credible. Thank you.
A credible distribution credible cinema distribution plan. This was to get the funding, we needed to have a credible cinema distribution plan, which basically meant that we needed to book the tour and then go to them, book the cinema plan with the cinemas and then go back to them and say, we're all booked now, give us the money to finish the film, which is crazy. Obviously, we want the money first. Once we've got it all done, then we'll book the cinemas. But basically it's it's a chicken and egg
Yes.
thing, and so they don't give you the money until you've booked the cinemas, and it's like, okay, well, that's just puts an unnecessary pressure on us to have it done in time for that booking, or it pressures us to do a fake booking with the cinemas and then fuck all the cinemas off by then canceling those bookings, which is also not a very good strategy.
Also,
So it's very, very annoying for the logistics and the organizing of the
some
release
might
of a film.
argue that, in terms of credible strategies, not taking it to a cinema or only taking it to very limited cinemas is entirely credible for a film of this size, with a film of this marketing budget, which is zero.
Yeah, which is
So
zero.
that's a very credible strategy. It makes a lot of sense because, as we just learned, let's just throw a little ballpark figure out, but we approached playing our web series at a cinema just as a sort of a one-off. And so we asked one of these, I don't know, it's what you'd kind of assume was like a patron of the arts cinema, like a little indie cinema, not an amazing cinema, not the best cinema in the world, and they quoted us $800. $800
For 2 hours. 2 hours of the cinema was $800, which is crazy because I'm sure they didn't. I've had I was going to say I've been to a screening there, but it was actually only like a 10-minute film. And it still costs several $100s.
But what's also crazy is
yeah.
they have no fucking business at the moment. So the first thing you do is you go, well, cool. Well, we don't actually have any income at the moment. And we're not likely to get any anytime soon from our main source of income. But how about we ream you guys for $800? No, that's not going to work for you? Oh, I guess we'll just miss out on all income once more. I mean, thank God that thank God that cinema is dead, that the film industry has imploded, and all the cinema chains are going to be forced out of business thanks to COVID-19, because otherwise we wouldn't have a credible distribution plan.
COVID-19, hallowed be thy name. And so the update is that it sounds like, we don't need to have a cinema plan anymore, thanks to COVID. So that's pretty cool because now we can reapply, and maybe we can get that, which would be a big help to help us sort of,
but also
get
little
this out. Yeah.
Independent cinemas support little independent movies or web series. Don't charge them insane amounts of money, because.
Well, I've got another connection that I was going to try.
But just if you're thinking that you're going to go to these cinemas and you're going to get maybe 50 people coming, and so you're going to make sort of just half that money back that they're charging you, just over. So you're running at a huge loss everywhere you go.
Well, we will get more than 50 people.
I agree.
Nah, well, I think we will, but most of it, we won't.
Okay, so
paying customers to go and see a web series they've never heard of. We won't. If all of the CD160 listeners showed up, would be sweet.
Yeah, but unfortunately, some of them live elsewhere.
Well, I think most of them do.
But
out of Auckland.
But yeah, it just does not make, because it's the context too, right? So if you're the Fast and the Furious 9 and they go, hey, this is Universal Pictures calling, how much to screen at your cinema? This new Vin Diesel film?
Okay.
And they go, yeah, it's $800. And you go, sweet, sounds good. We pay that all the time. That's nothing. What? I just sneezed out. I did a sneeze and $800 fell out on my nose. Because I have so much money. Whereas if you say that to an independent, $800, do you have $800 in your bank account right now?
Of course I do, Guy. I'm a very sensible.
I don't.
I plan ahead. I always plan ahead. I work with a runway, the runway system. I believe you told me about it on this podcast. This runway system changed my finances forever. Now I live. I used to live paycheck to paycheck. Now I live Malbec to Malbec, which is a type of wine.
Nice.
And so yeah, yes, I do have $800 in my bank. Right? I'm a grown-ass man. Grown-ass man.
You don't want to spend that on the fucking cinema.
Well, here's the thing. I will contribute my cut if I believe that we can see a return on it. Now, here's how we get a return on it: is we don't market it as a screening of our web series they've never heard of. We market it as a cool networking event, and so it's a networking event with a little party out in the foyer, and then you go inside and watch the series, which is
I was going
68
to say,
minutes
people
long.
are going to be a little bit disappointed when you tell them to shut the fuck up for 70 minutes and sit.
Well, no, because obviously you don't. It's not. No. Like, you tell them it's a screening, but you market it like a red carpet premiere, and you say, "Look, come along for some networking, people. Come on down. Meet the guys from Pigville.
Meet those.
This could change your life.
Meet those famous celebs from Pigville."
Yeah. Well, that's what always appeals to me, is networking opportunities. I'm willing to pay for networking opportunities because I can justify them as a business expense.
Well, yeah. Look, we'll see how that goes, but yeah, I'm still mentally processing that number that they quoted us. Mentally processing that.
Yeah,
they're no budget web series. Sounds like $800.
$800. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Now, well, I've got a couple or another someone else I can email, and see if who runs a good cinema, and so I can email them and see what they would charge us as well, and maybe we can get the inside lane there, perhaps.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Yes. So,
I have one last topic to mention.
Okay.
Now,
all right.
I watched the final season of BoJack Horseman on Netflix. Now,
all right. I haven't seen any of it, and I know that it sounds like something I would love. That's what people say. People say that I'd really like it. Haven't seen it.
So I sort of put off watching it, I guess because of the name. I don't know. BoJack Horseman seemed too crazy and quirky for me. I was like, it's too out there. BoJack Horseman, he's a horse and a man. Is he half horse and a man, or a horse? What the hell? This is dumb. So already I was kind of put off by it. But again, through these recommendations, someone's like, nah, trust me, you've got to see it. Especially you, guy. You have to see this. Whenever kind of people isolate me personally, and they're like, you personally, you get some life lessons off this one. I'm like, oh, God. Okay. So I actually started originally watching it when I had my first hip surgery. So I kind of got through all the seasons up until the last season when I was down and out with my last hip surgery. And they just released the final season on Netflix. And
I'm going to give it a hoon tonight. I'm going to give the first episode a hoon.
I highly recommend it. It gets better and better.
I'm currently halfway through the Epstein documentary. It'll be a nice change of flavor.
To me, I do think it is one of the best animated shows that I've ever seen in my life. I put it up there quite highly. I think.
Is it above Family Guy?
Oh, absolutely above. Well, this is the problem with things.
Family Guy is my favorite cartoon.
The problem with animated series of any type, if you run too long, the specialness of it wears off. So obviously, Simpsons is on top of the mountain, unparalleled. But because it's run for 30 seasons, you're kind of like, I loved it 15 seasons ago. And had they stopped at that 15 seasons, it would still be on that, and it has to be on that Mount Rushmore of animated shows. But if you've watched any of the recent seasons, they are a far cry from the magic of the monorail and grimy and all the, and when Ned Flanders flips his wig, that's one of my all-time favorites. And Sideshow Bob and the first 5 times he tried to kill Bart
but this is all just nostalgia speaking. I think it's still really it is still good,
but it's way off.
I've just changed.
No, I disagree. I think it's all to do with the fact that at a certain point, and this is what they've talked about, like some of the writers have talked about, is that when you get to a certain point and you're all sitting in a writer's room and you go, how about if Lisa does this? They go, we've done that. How about if Lisa does this? They go, we've done that. And they literally pitch
Simpsons did it.
They literally pitch 6 or 7 different things. And they go, we have done all those things with that character in this episode and that episode. At a certain point, you go, well, cool, I guess they just have to do some crazy shit then. And it becomes less about those characters and it becomes less about... And then I think that's what's happened to The Simpsons.
They end up doing just parodies of current affairs, which gets old quicker as well when it's about whatever's happening currently.
So but like, so BoJack is only 6 seasons, and I don't think it's going to go any longer. And
do you
I
think
think
I would
you will
like it?
enjoy it. It's not, and that's the other thing that I think is good about it, is it's not super funny, and they're not afraid to go to dark places, and that's okay, even though it is an animated show about a horseman. And it deals with, I think, the best of any show that I've seen. It deals with sort of celebrity, the effects of celebrity and fame, the negative effects of celebrity and fame, and sort of depression and existential crisis in a way that is very deftly handled over the course of that 6 seasons. So for those that haven't given it a chance because of the name BoJack Horseman and it's a horse, but he's a man, or is he more man than a horse? You know, like, I would highly, highly recommend it. But I will also say, woof, that 6th season, that is a killer. Like that, like I got out of that season and I was like, damn, I am struggling. this has really,
but okay, in a good way.
In a good way, in the sense that
that it challenged you.
Not in a good way in that, no, it's not very good in the sense that I'm horribly depressed right now, but in a good way in the sense that that's what art's meant to do, is it's meant to,
it's meant to challenge you.
It's meant to challenge you, and it's also meant to take you to these places, think about these things and emotions, and where you go from there. So highly, highly recommend BoJack Horseman for anyone that hasn't dipped into it. Take that journey, because it feels like, at least to some degree, they have a plan right from episode 1, right until that final episode. So good stuff. Thank you, Netflix. Thank you. Praise be to Netflix.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I just finished Ozark season 3 and Narcos Mexico season 2.
On that drug dealing
I've been ticking a lot of things off. Now I need to. Well, I've finished them all now, so now I need to find something new. So maybe I'll finally give BoJack Horseman a go. One final topic that I'll bring up is that very recently in the news here in New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern is tackling period poverty with free sanitary products for girls in school. And I say, good, it's about damn time, because can you imagine if all through our high school years, you and I had to pay for tampons and other stuff like that, which is a pure maintenance cost for existing, basically, that us penis bearers never have to worry about. But I couldn't have afforded tampons and all those things in those days. So that's a great first step, Auntie Jacinda. That's
Not
awesome.
If you wanted your Hawaiian BK chicken meal down in the mall. Drinking the free refills of someone's cup that had left there. That'd never fly in COVID, would it?
Well, no, wouldn't. We did do that, didn't we? We used to go and steal someone's cup from the table, someone's old cup from Burger King, and then just go fill it up at the Burger King, free
and then
Coke
share that together.
Thing. But we didn't actually pay for the Coke.
3 or 4
then
people.
Share it between us.
Keep going back for unlimited refills of this Burger King cup.
Yeah.
COVID
never paid
nightmare.
We only had to do that a few times, to be fair, because it was only like $1.95 or something for a small cup. But we were quite cheap, young, and broke. But yes, okay, all right. So we'll wrap it up. But thank you very much for listening. And Patreon.com/Pigville is always the best place to support us. Patreon.com/Pigville. You can give us $1 a month, and that really helps us keep the lights on. And shout out right now to all of our Patreon supporters as well. You guys are awesome. And then also Facebook.com/Guy and Harley if you want to keep up with us there. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitch, whatever you're doing, make sure you hit subscribe and follow and all those things. Thank you very much. And if you've got anything you'd like to, any topics you'd like us to bring up next Thursday, just slide into our DMs or comment below or whatever. Just send them through to us somehow. We want to get your topics and opinions on things.
We asked for questions. We did not receive any.
Nobody gives them to us.
Did not receive.
We used to. We used to get more questions in the old days, but I guess our listeners have heard everything about us now. They know all of the intimate details. But Bevan Reed is a CD160 listener. I think he's an occasional CD160 listener. And he said that he was listening one day and we were talking about my operation on my ass
Mm-hmm.
that I had, and you coined it as you called it something along the lines of an infected pus tunnel. And Bevan said that at about that point, that was when he was like, you know what? I know enough
I
about
don't.
these dudes now. Right this very second, I'm gonna tune
It's
out. I
time
don't
to
need to
go.
hear the rest of this story about this infected pus tunnel on Harley's ass that he's got to have an
Time to say
operation
goodbye.
for. You know that time to say goodbye. Now that was a lot of. I think the episode might be called Operation. Go back and check that out.
I dubbed it hairy
But yeah,
arsitis.
so
Really.
oh, maybe that was
Um,
it. Hiriasitis.
but
I'm
you
not
know,
sure. Yeah, it was there. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you very much for everyone that has tuned in on the live stream and everyone that is now listening in the comfort of their homes, not on the live streams, sometime later on Spotify. And we will see you all next week. Shout out to Tyler Adams. I'm working on all those things that I need to give Tyler Adams at the moment, and I just have not done them. But I'm in the process. So thank you, Tyler, and thank you for all your help and support.
Peace out.